Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Please hit that like and subscribe button and let's get right into today's video. So for today we will be doing another set of press-on nails, and for the nail tips I am using the extra long Unigella nail tips. I don't really know how to pronounce the name. But here I am trimming them down to like a medium long length, and then I will be attaching them to the nail tip stands and going from there. I also do quickly want to apologize for my gloves being so dirty. I did go ahead and start this nail set right after the previous one, so if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. It is the last one I updated or uploaded before this one. So like I said, after trimming them down, I am attaching them here to my nail tip stand, and then I will go ahead and start removing the shine from the nails. I do quickly want to say that even though these nail tip stands are very cute and like they just make your nail sets stand out way better, I don't love the actual stand itself, or like the little nail holding piece, if that makes sense, like this little pink part. It is so thin for the nail tip to actually be on there. So here I am filing. You won't be able to ever notice, but the nail tip does go sideways on the nail, so I have to constantly adjust the nail tip on the nail stand because of how thin the stand is, if that makes any sense. In one of my next videos, I'll kind of do a comparison between this one and one of the older ones I have that have the stand a little bit thicker. So yeah, just stay tuned for that, so that way you kind of understand what I'm talking about. So for today's acrylic powder, I will be using the color Soft Nude from our Sheer Beauty collection. It's a very beautiful, like sheer nude, obviously, with like a peachy undertone to it, and it does have some nice shimmer to it as well. Here I'm just quickly picking up a bead of this acrylic powder so that way you guys can see how nicely it picks up and how buttery it is. So getting into the application, I did go ahead and apply that medium-sized bead of acrylic right below the cuticle area, and I'm just dragging it down towards the free edge to start outlining the structure for the nail. Now, if you are a new subscriber and this is like your first video of me, like of you watching me do some acrylic press-ons, I do want you to note that you do not need to apply so much acrylic to the nail, because if you do that, it will make it super bulky. But for me personally, I like to apply a nice structure to it, so that way it has a nice apex, even though it doesn't need to be super, like a super big apex. But I do like to have it like this right here is pretty nice. But I am going in with another bead at the tip area just to kind of build up more of that strength there as well. You do always want to make sure to have that cuticle area nicely thin. So if I end up making it a little bit too thick with doing the acrylic powder, I do just work a little bit more extra on that area when I am filing, just to kind of thin it out a bit. But not only that, if you have it super thick in that area, it can cause shrinkage. So that just means that if shrinkage does happen and your client applies your customer applies these nails or any type of nails that you make with acrylic powder, they will just not fit at all because of so many layers of acrylic powder. And it's the same thing for gel polish as well. If you apply so many layers of gel polish, it can cause shrinkage. So just keep an open mind of that if you are wanting to start doing some custom press-ons. But back to the application, I am just using that soft nude color and applying that across all of the nails. So I will go ahead and just let you guys watch the rest of the application play out, and I'll come back in just a little bit once it's time to shape and file. So here's what the nail set is looking like after the application's been done and dried. So getting into the filing, I am just taking this medium grit sanding band from Nails and Blinks, and I do hammer at the speed of 9,000 RPMs when doing any type of finish filing using my e-file. So when filing my press-ons, I do like to start from the free edge area and work towards the cuticle area, just going over the entire surface. And then I do like to file down the sides, and then I do flip the nail over and file the cuticle area just to thin it out a little bit. And then I do also like to make sure I am checking all of the angles to see if there's any spots that need to be filed just a little bit more. When I started filing this ring finger here, I did notice it wasn't completely dried, so I am coming back later to file that ring finger and the pinky nail as well with the nail drill. But for now, I am just taking my hand file and shaping underneath the nail just to kind of get any acrylic that might have spilled over when doing the application, along with kind of shaping up the sidewalls to make sure that's nice and straight. And I do flip the nail over to follow the free edge and make sure that is nicely crisp as well. And then here, like I said, I am going back with my e-file and filing over the entire surface of the ring nail and the pinky nail, and then going back in with the hand file to shape everything up even more. Lastly, I am just taking my hand buffer here and buffing over the entire surface of each of these nails. I am doing tons of nail art, and I do want the surface to be nicely smooth just for that. So very quickly, before we get into the actual nail art, I do want to pop up the inspo picture here that I did see on Instagram. So this is the nail set I will be creating for the rest of the video. These are what the nails are looking like after they've been shaped and filed, and I also did go ahead and clean them off using the lint-free wipe and some alcohol. Now very quickly before we get into the actual nail art, I am applying a very thin layer of some base coat just to kind of help with any of those ridges that were left from buffing the nail. And then after applying this, I do go ahead and cure the light for only 30 seconds, and then we will move into the nail art. So for today's gel polishes, I am using three different colors, three different shades of blue from Blue Sky. I don't really know how to pronounce the names. I think this one is Celeste. This one right here is called Blue Danube, I believe. I'm not quite sure. And then this one here is called Loving Nature. I do have them linked down below in my link tree in the description box if you're interested in any of these gel polish colors. And I am also using Classic White and Classic Black from Kairos Nail Supply. And then I did go ahead and apply them to my nail palette there. And then I guess I didn't record when I started doing the French tip, but I am using the A method to outline my French tip and my smile line and everything like that. And I am taking this blue color and infilling that for the rest of the nail. I believe this color right here is the Celeste color that I showed just a little bit ago. So like I said, if you're interested in any type of Blue Sky products, I do have the link down below. I'm not quite sure how much it saves you, but I do have a code with them, and if you just use the link down below, it does apply the code automatically when you check out. After I am doing the French tip nail, I do go ahead and cure this one for 30 seconds while I move on and do the next nail. So I figured since I still had that blue gel polish color on my nail brush, I am just going ahead and doing any of the designs that are needed with this color. So for the pinky nail, we are doing some patchwork, and I am just outlining like a rectangle-ish square design here on the side of the nail. And then after I have it outlined, I do go ahead and infill that as well. And then once I am done with this one, again, I do cure for 30 seconds. Now for this nail, we are doing like a mummy type of nail, and I am using the color Loving Nature, which is that very light blue color. On camera here, it doesn't really look light blue. It looks more like a white color, but it is a light blue color. And I am just doing some lines for that mummy nail. It doesn't have to be done in any type of specific design. As long as it looks, well, it doesn't really matter how it looks. As long as it's cute to you, that's all that matters. So to kind of explain how I am doing it here, I did a very thick line kind of in the area where the cuticle area is, and then after I am done with that thickness, well, that thick line, I am doing some thinner ones going along the rest of the nail. When doing these lines, like I said, they don't have to be done in any type of specific order or design or any type of thickness as well. As long as, like I said, it's cute to you, that's all that matters. But once I am done with that, I do go ahead and cure, and then I am going back to this pinky nail to do the other square for this patch nail art. So for this next nail, we are doing some stacked pumpkins, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm not really good at doing pumpkins like this. So doing the outline of them doesn't look that cute, but once I am done doing like the actual detail, it does look a bit better. But here I'm taking that like royal blue type of color and outlining the first pumpkin at the bottom, and then I am infilling that afterwards. Again, I am going back to that pinky nail and doing the last square for that patch nail using that dark blue color. And again, also please note that I am curing each nail for 30 seconds while I move on and do the design on the next nail. So for the ring finger, I am doing some like drip nails. I'm not that good at doing these type of drip designs. So what you are seeing right here is my first attempt at doing this design. So I just took a dotting tool to kind of help guide where the dots are going to be. And then I am taking that same liner brush and kind of dragging them up towards the cuticle area. And now I'm just trying to connect them. But once I am done connecting them and kind of infilling it a little bit, I realized it did not look good at all. So you will see that I wiped it off and restarted and did like a better version, if that makes sense. At least somewhat of a better version. I know it could have came out a bit better, but for me the second try was a bit better than this first one here. So like I said, I did just take a lint-free wipe and some alcohol and wiped off the top portion of the design. And here I'm just kind of spacing out the dots a little bit more to make them either lower, more higher, and everything like that. And then the same method, I am just taking that the liner brush and dragging the dots towards the cuticle area to kind of help mark where the drip design is going to be. I am so sorry for like all my stuttering today. I am not that good at explaining things. Plus it's been a minute since I actually did a voice recording, so I'm not really like as good at it like I used to be, if that makes sense. Like the previous video that you saw, the one where I did like those cute little simple almond nails, that was recorded like a week before this video. I did the videos in the same day, but the voiceover for that video was done a week before I am doing this one here. So that's why I am just kind of a bit rusty when doing these voiceovers. I am just trying my hardest to kind of help with the stuttering and stuff like that and kind of get more better at explaining things, so that way it's easier for you guys to understand. So going back to the pumpkin nail, I am taking that first blue color that we started using and doing the other pumpkin on top of this nail. Like I said, when I am like outlining the pumpkins, it is not going to look that cute. It's going to look really weird. But once I am going back in with the designs later on, it will start to look a bit better than what it is looking like now. So after outlining this pumpkin, again, I am just taking the same color and infilling the rest of that little pumpkin there and then curing that for 30 seconds. And then going back to the mummy now, I am taking the classic black gel polish and a dotting tool and marking the eyes in the thicker line that we created for the mummy. And then off camera, I guess I didn't record, but I did do some white dots in the center of those black dots, and now I'm just taking that dark blue gel polish color and kind of outlining the lines of the mummy just to give a bit more depth and detail. And then I am curing it for 30 seconds as well. I do also want to apologize for me being all over the place with this video, like going back and forth between the nails. I just feel like it's a bit easier if I have one specific color on my brush to kind of get the designs out of the way when doing that, so I'm not just wiping off the brush and like going in between colors. So back to the pumpkin now, I am taking classic black again and kind of outlining the pumpkins now and creating the two little lines in the center to kind of give it more detail for that pumpkin look. And I guess I didn't show the top portion of the pumpkin, but I did the same thing using that light blue gel polish color as well. And then once I am done outlining the pumpkins and doing the two little lines, I do start to work on doing some little stems for each of the pumpkin. And then this top pumpkin here will have kind of like a swirly type of vine looking thing. I don't know if that's the word for it, but it will have that coming out of the stem as well. And then after this, now you do want to make sure to cure for 60 seconds because this gel polish color is so pigmented. You want to make sure it does not wrinkle and that it's fully cured before you move on to any type of other designs. Now to finish up the patch now on the pinky, I am again taking that black gel polish color and outlining the little squares with that color. And then once I am done outlining them, I will go ahead and start doing the lines along the like outer part of the squares, if that makes sense. Here you can kind of see how I'm doing it, just kind of dragging the lines to give it more of like a stitched look. And then after this, again curing for 60 seconds in the nail lamp. Now we are starting to do the design on the thumbnail, and I'm not gonna lie, I am not that good at doing this type of design, so it is kind of like the French tip bat look, if that makes sense. So I watched a tutorial on how to kind of do that before I started this nail, and it looked a bit easier when watching the video. So I don't know if this bat did not come out that cute. Honestly, it's like super big and fat, but it's still okay. I still stuck with it. I didn't wipe it away or anything like that, so you will kind of see how I fix any issues with this design. So what I did was I created 5 dots along that like French tip area to kind of mark where I want the wings of the bat to be. And then I did go ahead and outline the French tip smile line area with that black gel polish, and now I'm just dragging the lines down to those dots to kind of connect them and start creating the wing effect. Like I said about the pumpkins, it is going to look very weird at first when I am doing this bat, but once I get all the details and like everything perfected, it will look a bit better. So here, after I am done kind of connecting the lines to those dots, I am infilling the little space right there with the black gel polish, and I am kind of dragging out the lines a bit further past those dots just to give it more of a nice winged look, if that makes sense. And then after that, I will go ahead and start working on the head area for this bat. So when doing the head, I am just taking the dotting tool with that same black gel polish and kind of creating like a circle for the head. And I do flip the nail over and kind of drag out that circle to create the ears and just make sure everything looks nice. And once that is done, I do go ahead and cure again for 60 seconds. Now this is what the entire nail set is looking like once all the design is completely done. So I am going ahead and taking a lint-free wipe and some alcohol to kind of wipe away all the stickiness of the gel polish. And the reason for that is because I will use matte top coat for the final like top coating portion, and I don't want any of that gel polish color to smear when top coating. So for today's matte top coat, I will be using the Nails and Blings Velvet Matte Top Coat and applying that to all the nails, and I highly recommend this matte top coat as well. Obviously I do recommend the one from Kairos Nail Supply as well, but this one is a very nice one as well. I don't know why I said as well so many times, but yes, this one is a nice matte top coat too. And then before I actually cure this nail set, I do kind of give a preview of what the nail set would look like if you left it shiny. And then obviously I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds to give it that matte look. So again, this is what the nail set would look like if we left it shiny, but again, I cured it for 60 seconds in the nail lamp, and here's what it looks like after it's completely matted. Let me know what you thought about this video. That is pretty much the end of it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!